The first car ever driven on the moon is still parked there. In July 1971, Apollo 15 carried it off Earth, folded up like a lawn chair, strapped to the side of the lander. 3 astronauts were about to turn a mission into a road trip across another world. On July 26th, a Saturn V, the most powerful rocket ever flown, thundered off the pad at Kennedy Space Center. On board, David Scott, Alfred Worden, and James Irwin. Their target was a landing site more dangerous than anything Apollo had tried before, a canyon at the foot of Lunar Mountains. 4 days later, the lander Falcon dropped toward a plain called Hadley, hemmed in by mountains rising nearly 15,000 feet, beside a winding canyon a mile wide. It touched down tilted, 1 footpad in a small crater, safe. Then Scott and Irwin unfolded the car. The rover ran on batteries and folded out from the lander's side. No roof, no doors, top speed about 8 miles an hour. Scott and Irwin drove it over 17 miles. On a mountainside, they found the Genesis rock, a piece of the moon's original crust, 4 billion years old. Before leaving, Scott stood in front of the camera and held out a hammer and a falcon feather. Galileo had predicted, centuries earlier, that without air they would fall together. He let go. On live television, from another world, the feather and the hammer hit the dust at the same instant. The way home held one more first. Nearly 200,000 miles from Earth, Al Worden climbed out of the spacecraft and spacewalked along its hull to retrieve film from the cameras. The first spacewalk ever made in deep space, farther from home than any before or since. In the final minutes, one of the 3 main parachutes collapsed. The capsule hit the Pacific hard, but held, and the crew walked away. Then came the scandal. Hidden in their gear were about 400 unauthorized stamped envelopes, carried to the moon to be sold. None of them ever flew again. The rover they left behind sat silent through the lunar night, and it is sitting there now, parked at Hadley, tracks still sharp in the dust, the feather and the hammer lying where they fell. The first car ever driven on the moon is still parked there. Nobody ever drove it home.